Do y'all remember how Joseph's brothers treated him because of his joy, his optimism? He just seemed very optimistic about life. He was just grateful for life. He was excited because he was seeing things, he was dreaming about things, he was favored by his father. His father just knew that he was, the light in the family. Excuse me, y'all. Here go the confirmations. Excuse me, y'all. Come on through. This is the energy that you are possessing right now, okay? You're possessed with good energy. You're possessed with joy and happiness. And there's some people around who do not like it, okay? And they don't like it because they're not either a part of your happiness, they don't understand your happiness, or they're just plain hateful and jealous that other people like you. And they feel like other people do not like them the same way, right? It's very much obvious that Joseph brothers definitely had a hate and jealousy towards him. And we're not going to disregard the fact that, Big Joe probably has something to do with it, right? Joseph's father, because he made it known that Joseph was his favorite. And Joseph even said to himself when he got locked up, right? And he started to reflect on why was his brothers put him in a pit? Why would his brothers sell him out to slaves? Remember, he had that little reflective moment and he was like, it was my pride. My pride got me here, because someone had asked him, how did you get here? And he was like, I shouldn't even be here. I don't know how I'm here. And then he heard a voice and he said, it was my pride that got me here. So you guys could have had a moment where maybe you had to reflect on things, right? Maybe you noticed that you were very favored and things worked out for you, but maybe because you were so young, the things that you would say actually came off a bit prideful, right? So the brothers was annoyed with Joseph, not all the way that he was being blessed, but because he was excited and he was telling them about it. Like when when the father gifted Joseph with the new gown, right? The robe, the colorful robe. Joseph wore it. He was excited. He wanted to go show it to his brothers. But him just wanting to show it off to his brothers, it made it seem like he was trying to show it off because he didn't have discernment to understand that even if he is happy about something, it still feels like you're putting it in their face, right? So you just being happy or joyous about something that God has given you or some things that God has blessed you, it can come off as boastful or like you're putting it in other people's face just because you're just so excited. So it takes you growing and healing and realizing that, okay, maybe I shouldn't be too happy, or I don't need to share everything with everybody. Joseph's dad did try to stop him or kind of warn him, because remember, he was like, can I go show my brothers my robe? And the dad was like, oh no, maybe not, but that was basically the dad trying to tell him, like, they're not going to be happy. They're not going to receive this in a way that you're expecting them to, because they don't have a robe. They're already jealous and hate you because they can obviously tell that I favor you out of all of them. And this is not going to help the situation. But Joe, he was still young. He was one of the youngest. Benjamin was just a baby, the younger brother. So, a child is just being a child, and he's just being excited, not realizing that his brothers is actually envious of him, because every time something good or he gets something, it's like he wants to go tell it to them, not realizing that these are not the people that you can tell good news to. Okay, so you could have had a period in your life where you realize you can't keep going to these people about this good news, because not everybody is being blessed in the same way that you're being blessed. So if they're not being blessed in the same way, sometimes they will envy that, or they will feel like you're putting it in their face or you're boasting. And you can just be young, or you can just be so joyous and happy that you're just oblivious to how these people feel. Joseph was definitely oblivious to why his brothers will even hate him. Why would they even want to put me in a pit? These are my brothers. He never imagined that they will actually hate him because of how he was. So I feel like you had a period where God had to sit you down in solitude, and you had to realize that, even though your intentions wasn't bad at all, this is how people might have perceived it, because they're in that energy, right? If people are resting in that hateful energy, they're only going to receive hate. Even if you're giving them love, even if you're happy, you're excited, excited, they're going to just turn it into hate, okay? So God could have definitely told you to just simmer down or to not share certain things with certain people, because they look at it as you're boasting when you're just telling them regular shit. They look at it as you're bragging when you're just sharing your testimony, okay? So we have to be aware of who we can share these good news with and who you cannot, because even if it's good news and you're happy and you're excited, if it's coming into someone's ears that is not very happy and excited, they will flip it and make it feel like, oh, you're trying to put it in their face. All right. So with all of that being said, y'all, there's some energies around that feels like, oh, this person is putting it in my face. And you may not even be studying them. You may not even be worrying about them. You may not even be talking to them personally. Like, you can be someone you just posting on social media, minding your business, and then you got these motherfuckers that ain't on shit or ain't doing shit. They just hating on the next person, talking down on the next person. So they obviously ain't focused on the seeds that they need to be planting, right? Because they so busy worried about you. They looking at it like, oh, this person think they better than them. They think that they better than everybody. They boasting, they bragging. And you could just be like, I'm just in my own little world. I'm just posting what I like. I'm just talking about the goodness that God has been giving me or showing me. And some people are taking it as, you rubbing it in their face, because maybe some people is just not feeling like they're being blessed at this time. Or maybe their blessings are small, so they can't really tell that it's actually a blessing. People, they disregard that God woke you up this morning. That is a blessing. You were able to eat today. You're still being blessed. You were able to go to work today. You have a job. You made some money today, or you made some progress. You did some chores, you did whatever, you ran some errands, whatever it is that was on your to-do list for that day. Be glad that you achieved it, you accomplished it, or whatever like that. But if some people, they don't want to hear your good news. You have to know who you can share good news with and who you cannot. You can't be sharing your good news with people that is jealous of you. You can't be sharing your good news with people that is envious of you, okay? Because envy runs deep. A motherfucker be envious of you and you can have $2 to your name. Okay, the brothers could have been envious of Joseph, and all he had was that robe, that colorful robe that his brother gave him. So it's like people will envy you. If they hate you and they wish that they had things that you had, they will envy anything about you. Anything. Motherfuckers will want things they never even wanted before, but they see you with it, now they want it. They see that you're succeeding in it. Now they want that career. They want to follow in your footsteps because it's working out for you. Now they decided, oh, I want to do that too. Let me hop on a bandwagon. It's working out for her, so it must work out for me. No, that's where God led you to go. That don't mean that that's where God is leading them. They're being led off of drive, off of jealousy. Their drive is jealousy. Their drive is competition. Their drive is, oh, let me see if I can do it because they did it, not because this is something that I want to do. All right. But basically, I just wanted to come on here and just let you know a couple of things. Beware of who you're sharing your good news to, because not everybody is excited and happy for you. Right. Get some discernment so that okay, if I tell this person this, I know that they're going to receive it well because they're already in a happy place in their life. So they're not going to make this bad. I'm giving good news and they're going to keep it good. They're not going to be looking at me like I'm trying to boast or brag to their face. We have to make sure that we are sharing things with the right people. Not everybody can hold that type of information. Whole time motherfuckers is trying to set you up behind the scenes. The whole time motherfuckers is waiting for a chance to put you in a pit or to sell you out or to act like you ain't, you're not friends or y'all not blood relatives. You motherfuckers be waiting, okay, to sell you for some silver. Because what happened? The same thing that Judas did with Jesus, the same thing that Joseph and them did. Joseph brothers did. Joseph brothers sold him, Simon and them, sold him for some silver pieces. Some silver pieces. Yes, them little coins that we have, okay? Some silver pieces of coin, because remember, after one of the brothers came back, I don't know exactly which brothers it was, but he was like, I think it was Simon, when he came back and he noticed that his brother was gone, and they told him, oh, here goes your portion, giving him his little coins from them selling Joseph. Crazy. So people, they'll sell you out for some little bit of change. Not even thinking about the consequences, not even thinking about what they're doing. They're just ready to get rid of you. Okay? Don't underestimate people's hates and what they would do. Especially if someone feels like you just have a better life than them. And they always want to be the victim. They never claim the victory over their situation. People will hate you if you're just optimistic with life, if you say that you have a connection to the Holy Spirit, if you say that you're intuitively led, right? Some people hate that. They hated Joseph because he was having dreams, right? Boom, they hated him now because of the robe. Then they hated him because he followed his dad's directions when his dad told him to kind of like check on the brothers, see what they're doing, if they're working. They just hated everything that he was doing, because he was just different. He was just different. They hated every little thing about him. And honestly, I blame Joseph's dad a lot too, because I feel like he should have just been more aware of his sons and the spirit that they carry, because do not underestimate hate. If you have a child and you notice that they have the spirit of hate inside of them, you need to knock that shit out when they're a baby. You don't let them get older, because it don't get better. Siblings become to be more distant with one another and hate each other even more if you don't nip it in the bud at a young age. Okay. So I feel like Joseph, his dad, could have definitely figured that out. His dad name was Joshua, I think. He could have figured it out and made sure that his brothers understood, like, we're not in competition here. We're all together. This is your brother, But because he knew that Joseph was different, he felt it. He did kind of do things, and it made his other children feel singled out, which is bad. You shouldn't have a favorite child. You shouldn't. If you have a favorite child, that means that you need to counsel your other children and get that evilness out of them. You get what I'm saying? If you only have one child, confirmation. If you only have one child that's loving and caring and optimistic and joyous, then that means you need to get over there with them other kids and help them through whatever trauma you done created in their life as a parent, and help them work through it or something, because you need to nip that in the bud. You should not just be, oh, they're just like that. Oh, they're just playing. No, because that actually grows into a serious hate. And then now you see the Cain and Abel situation. Now we got Joseph's brothers selling him out. It never stops. God already showed us that family can be your biggest problem if you don't nip it in the bud when you see it. When you notice the issue, you need to handle that. All right? Because people will do shit and they don't think about it. They'll deal with it later when they're in jail. But motherfuckers don't be thinking when they're in the heat of the moment, when they're upset. Them brothers was not thinking when they decided to sell him. It was like one little thing that pushed them up to the edge. What happened was, I believe it's Joshua. That's Joseph's dad. That's what I'm going to call him for now. I know I couldn't double check that, but I don't even feel like it. So basically, to close this up, what took the brothers to the edge, if you're not familiar with the Joseph story, right, is that the father wasn't too sure that the sons was doing the job that he needed them to do, and they was traveling a bit. So he was feeling uneasy about that, not knowing that was the Holy Spirit leading him so that Joseph can go do what needed to be done. It's like God's will still will be done. Okay. They wanted it to be bad, but God turned it for good. So even though it was a shitty situation, it was still ordained or meant for this to happen to Joseph. You get what I'm saying here? So it's like the dad was feeling like uneasy, like he knew his sons wasn't doing what he needed them to do. And that was his intuition so that he can send Joseph. And he didn't want to, because he felt it too. He felt uneasy about sending Joseph. He's like, no, if something happened to you, I would hate myself. I need you here, but it was like, gotta let it go. You love something, let it go. Type thing. So he decided to let it go, and he told Joseph to go check on the brothers and see what's going on and then report back. The brothers did not like that. Joseph popped back on them because one of the brothers was saying, oh yes, I'm so excited. Now we don't have to deal with him walking around talking about his dreams. And Joseph had just told him about another dream that he had just had about them, like they having sheep and whatever, and their sheep bowing down to his sheep. So of course they don't want to hear that story. That like took them off edge. So now they done travel somewhere for work, whatever they was going, and they're excited that they're away from their brother. And he's like, oh, I'm so happy I don't got to see him bragging and stuff no more. And then one of the brothers was like, well, and then boom, Joseph shows up. So of course they're annoyed, they're mad, they're like, damn, Dad don't never trust us. He's sending in this man done told us that we all gonna be bowing down to him in a dream that he had. And it's like Joseph wasn't really understanding what his dreams was saying. He was just excited to share it with people. But if people have an envious heart, they're not gonna receive it well. You get what I'm saying? He wasn't even really aware of what he was saying. He didn't even really understand what God was showing him in the dream. He was just trying to share it with his family, the people that was closest to him, but they didn't like it. It don't matter if you're the prettiest pink in the world if their favorite color is purple. This is that energy. This is their energy. They just didn't like it. All right. So you have this energy right now where there's a lot of people, they don't like your joy. They don't like your connection to God. They don't like how you're favored. Okay, this can be situations at work. Maybe you're favored by the boss, favored by your manager, favored by clients. People is upset with that. And you may not even be trying to do too much or nothing. You just doing yourself, being yourself. And this is what you're attracting. And there's some people, they don't like that. All right, that's the secret, y'all. They don't like that. They want you to be, stressed out and sad about life. They want you to be, in that depressed energy like a lot of people is. When you're too happy and you still hopeful and having faith in God, they don't like that. Now, do we conform to them and do what they like? No, you continue to be joyous and happy, but you do take precaution, right? What did I say in the beginning? You just make sure that you're sharing with who you need to share with, right? We don't tell everybody everything, because even if you're not trying to brag or boast or anything, when it coming in deaf ears, the devil's ears, he's going to twist it and turn it and flip it and confuse it however way he wants. So just to make sure that you're safe and you're not doing anything that God will be mad about, right? You just don't even share that to these people. If you know that you can't share good news with people, just keep it to yourself. Keep it to yourself, baby. Keep it to yourself until you get home and you can shout it out to yourself out loud with God, or keep it to yourself until you get around a homegirl or a homeboy that you know that you can trust and they won't be mad or hating, because you just can't tell everybody everything. You can't tell everybody you just got a raise. You can't tell everybody, oh, you thinking God, you paying all your bills. Whole time motherfuckers don't even know that you was damn near getting evicted and you was struggling paycheck to paycheck, and now God didn't answer your testimony. Now you're living more freely, but they don't want to hear that. They don't even care that you was in a struggle and now you're stable. They don't give a fuck about that. They just looking at it like, oh, you stable. You bragging now. Oh, stay humble. Listen, people will trick you, manipulate you, gaslight you, whatever fucking word you want to say. Oh, be humble. When you telling these people good news, oh, be humble. Humble yourself. Don't even tell them shit. Don't even tell them shit. This is the message. Don't even tell them, because they're going to flip it, twist it, trick it, confuse it the way that the enemy, they daddy, tell them to do it anyway. So don't even tell these people good news about yourself. Keep it to yourself. Keep it to yourself. Because you telling them good news and they over there behind the scenes planning a whole plot to take you up out of here, to get you off your spots. The whole time, if they do any type of plans, trust me, if God allowed a plan to happen, it's because it was already meant to be. You think God ain't know that Judas was going to snake Jesus? Jesus knew that somebody was going to betray him. But guess what? The assignment still needed to happen. The mission still needed to be fulfilled. So if anybody think that they finna come in and try to set you up or throw you in a pit or sell you to this person, disown you, let them do whatever they plan on doing, because God has a bigger plan within their little plan that they have. Judas had a plan, but God had a bigger plan. Joseph's brothers had a plan. Oh, they had a great little plan, right? But God had a way bigger plan. A way bigger plan. And them niggas could never rest. They always felt when everything bad was happening, they was talking to each other like, oh, this is because of what we did to our brother Joseph. Yes, it is. Karma getting your ass. Yes, it is. All right? So again, word of advice, if they're not in that good energy, if they're not being blessed in their life, if they're not in alignment for their blessings, try not to share your blessings with them, because they're just going to think that you're bragging and boasting and you're trying to talk down on them. They're going to think that you just think that you're better than them. Just keep it to yourself, honey. You want to talk to somebody, email me, baby. I'll listen to you. I ain't no hater. I would be happy for anybody. I don't even care if it wasn't my time to eat. I'm still going to be clapping for the others. I'm still going to be putting the plates down. I'm still going to be setting the table with the forks and the knives with your glassware. I'm going to make sure that you're ready to eat when God puts your food down on the table. I don't care if it's not my seats. I don't care if I don't have a seat at that table. I will set it up for you. I will cheer for you. I will be happy for you. I will make sure that you have water to eat with your meal. Okay, and a nice glass of wine to go down with it. Pinot Noir to be exact, because you're going to be eating steak and lobster and all that good shit. So you need a deep red wine. All right. A little Cabernet. Okay. Even deeper. But that's the goal. I would never be a hater, because I know if God is blessing your table, my table is next. If God is blessing your neighborhood, God is in the neighborhood. So guess what? A win is a win. If he's blessing you, I know that I'm right around the corner. I'm not going to hate on you and forfeit my blessing. And God say, oh, this person is too jealous. Let's skip them. Let them humble themselves and learn some things. And then we come back and spin the block maybe a year or two from now. I don't need God to spin the block on me. I want him to know that I am righteous, I am happy, and I'm willing and ready to receive my blessing. So guess what? I clap for others. I'm happy for others. I celebrate others. So you can always hit me up and share your testimony with me. We can even share it for the channel, because I know the people over here, we not no haters. And if you are, escort yourself out, babe. I don't even have to do it for you. I'll let you escort yourself. All right? So, yeah, and keep it on hush-hush, because motherfuckers ain't too happy. All right? And it's okay, because God is blessing you with the right people that you could share this news with. Some of you have people that you could share this news with. You know who you can trust with this information. But some people, baby, you know that bitch over there, she been struggling paycheck to paycheck. She leaning on Mr. Willie and Larry over there to pay her bills. Why are you telling her that God done blessed you with a job and you've been paying your bill? Why are you telling her that God done blessed you with a new apartment or a new home? She ain't going to be happy for you. She ain't going to be happy for you. Why you telling Miss depressed and hateful in that settled ass marriage that she in, that you done found the love of your life, you about to go get married? Why you telling her all she gonna say is you don't want to get married? Marriage is the bullshit. You don't need that energy. Tell people that it's going to receive it well. Okay, that's what it's called. That's what wisdom is called. Is knowing who to share things with and who not to share things with. Right? Right. I love you all, and I'll catch y'all in the next video. Bye.